Marco Rubio fires back against Hillary Clinton after she called his anti-abortion position offensive. We'll have his response to that in a moment. But first, Jeb Bush is going to target Clinton tonight during a speech at the Reagan Library in California. He's expected to highlight her foreign policy failures as Secretary of State, particularly mistakes that led to the rise of ISIS. His campaign released a video to preview the address.
When we pull back, voids are filled. We now see it. We see it with these new threats of barbaric Islamic terrorism in the Middle East and homegrown terrorism in our own country motivated by ISIS. The United States has a huge role to play in the world. We are the leader of the world.
All right, Eric, smart to attack her on foreign policy?
Yeah, well, I think that's where they all should be pointing the guns right now. Hillary Clinton, and look what she's doing. She's saying, you know, I kind of got myself in hot water with this Planned Parenthood thing, and she's going to start pointing her guns at Marco Rubio. So it's all kind of shifting right now. Everyone's playing the where's my money best spent, and I think Jeb's money is best spent, you know, going right after Hillary Clinton. Because here's why. You look at both of them on the screen together, you go, hey, this could be it. And if my choices are between those two right there on the screen, I like the guy over there on the left.
You like it too, Kimberly? Substantive debate?
I like it. Be strong, bigger. Don't even worry and sweat about the other 16 or so people running. Say, I'm the guy. I want to be president of the United States. I am presidential, and I'm going for her because I'm going to be the last one standing, and I'm going to take her down.
What do you
That's
think?
how I would approach it.
Gutfeld?
What?
About him going after her, especially about the rise of ISIS.
Yeah, no, because here's the interesting thing about Hillary Clinton. Her key experience happens to be her core incompetence.
Wow.
She was Secretary of State, and it's been nuts. She can't run on a record at all. It's the worst record since Who Let the Dogs Out. She did to foreign policy what her husband did to the blue dress. If you think about her accomplishments, Benghazi, for example, the Russian restart button, the rise of ISIS, it's incredible. By the way, we've done this before. Hillary's explanation of Benghazi has to be heard to be believed, and this will be her downfall. She somehow believes that a guy went on YouTube, right? Went on YouTube, he was there to watch cat videos, and he came across a Muhammad video. Now, mind you, he's a decent guy. He has a good job. And he decides to call up all of his other friends who have good jobs, say, hey, let's go down and burn down a consulate and kill a bunch of innocent people. They do that. Then they're done, and they go back to their jobs as florists and gardeners. This is a foreign policy expert who blamed the death of Americans on a video, and she must pay for that.
And can I just throw in there also that after they realized that it had nothing to do with the video, they still went and put up that big Facebook page in the Middle East saying, hey, it's the video, in Pakistan, right, and blaming the video, even though they already knew that's not what it was.
On the apology tour. Yeah, they're like, blame it on a Blockbuster night. Somebody rented the video. This is the problem. It's appalling. And this is who you want to be the leader of the free world?
Yeah, they're rewarding her.
Liar in chief.
They're rewarding her with a nomination. That's like electing Ted Nugent to PETA after what she's done to our world policy.
There's probably no Democrat, though, Kirsten, who would say that she does not have more experience and is better qualified on foreign policy than anybody else that's entered the race.
Yeah,
right?
well, I don't think there's anybody who actually could say otherwise. I mean, you can say you don't like her foreign policy experience, but you can't say that anybody else has more foreign policy experience. And I do think that the Benghazi issue, unfortunately, you're not going to get a lot of traction with that. I think people have sort of decided where they are in Benghazi, and they're not, either they want to blame her or they don't.
Do you think, though, that adds into her declining numbers on trustworthiness and character and judgment?
I think her trustworthiness numbers are dropping more because of the email stuff than the Benghazi stuff. She certainly took a little hit after Benghazi, but on the Bush bringing up Iraq thing, he has to do it. He has to go after her on foreign policy, obviously, but it also raises a question of, his brother in Iraq, and also the fact that ISIS actually wasn't there before we invaded Iraq. And so he has to be ready.
Actually, they were there when he left. Which Hillary Clinton says, in her book, Hillary Clinton says she was against the dramatic pullout. She was actually for going after Bashir Assad in Syria and supporting the Red Line. And so I actually think that this is a fairly smart strategy to take her on directly on those vulnerabilities.
So, Dana, how do you think Republicans should respond when she says that? Basically, she's going to come out and say, well, I wasn't president. Barack Obama was president. If I was president, I would have done
I think that he could say, but you had a seat at the table in the cabinet as a Secretary of State. Actually, it's not like you were. It's not like you were the governor of Florida.
Right.
I think I might say that.
But you're part of the relay team. Let's be honest. But guess what? I don't want to give her any credit about her experience in foreign policy. I want you to impress me that you're actually really good at your job, not corrupt or incompetent or lying about it and pushing fake talking points that jeopardizes American national security. My point is, hey, I'd rather take somebody else that has some brains to put together a good comprehensive plan to keep America safe than someone that put us in a worse position that was part of Barack Obama's cabinet. That's like saying, hey, I went to dental school, but you flunked out of the class and the first patient you treated, you pulled all their teeth instead of cleaning them. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't give her credit just for getting that position. Does that make sense?
I agree. Let's move on to the next topic because foreign policy isn't the only place where they are going after Hillary Clinton and back and forth. Like she's engaging them as well. Here she is talking about Marco Rubio and abortion.
When one of their major candidates, a much younger man, the senator from Florida, says there should be no exceptions for rape and incest, that is as offensive and as troubling a comment as you can hear from a major candidate running for the presidency. I think more people should say the same. They should be going after him. What Marco Rubio said has as much of an impact in terms of where the Republican Party is today as anybody else on that stage, and it is deeply troubling.
Marco Rubio wasted no time in responding to that. Let's look at this, and then we'll look at Eric's opinion. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to read it. Clinton supports abortion, even at the stage when an unborn child can feel pain. She has defended partial birth abortions as a fundamental right. She supports funding Planned Parenthood. She supports using taxpayer money to pay for abortions overseas. Hillary Clinton holds radical views on abortion that we look forward to exposing in the months to come. Eric, I noticed two things in Hillary Clinton's statement. One, she wanted very much to say Marco Rubio was a much younger man.
That was huge.
Which is usually a compliment. Yeah. I don't think she meant it that way.
Yeah, that was like the old Ronald Reagan comment saying, I won't use your youth.
So a shot at his inexperience.
Yeah. But here's what it is. And in the same speech, she talked about that. And she reignited the war on women. So in two sound bites, she reestablish the identity politics that she needs to get back to in order to get some energy back into her campaign. Right now, Bernie Sanders is tattooing her. He's 100,000 people in the last 3 or 4 rallies. Yeah. He's crushing her. The focus is on,
have some video of
on
that
Bernie.
Too,
oh, we do? Mm-hmm. All right. But so her thing is, let me bring this back to me. What worked for me before? Let's see. War on women. Republicans have a war on women. Here's proof. Here's Marco Rubio. And by the way, I have the experience, and I'm your lady for your first lady. I mean, your president. Whatever.
Whatever.
Well, because it's really going to be Bill.
The first man. The first dude.
Well, here's the thing, though, Kimberly. So in every poll, we say, if you ask Americans, what do you care most about in the upcoming election in 2016? It is, number one, the economy and jobs, and number two, foreign policy.
Correct.
Those are actually been two of her weakest points. But when she talks about the war on women, she actually shines.
Well, that's where she gets some traction, and she's able to get the cash and get the supporters and mobilize her base to an enthusiastic uproar for her eventual nomination, right? That's where she's got to go, and it's sort of her sweet spot, where she knows she's really good and she feels comfortable talking about it, and it makes sense, in terms of why they should choose her. The other stuff she doesn't have a great record on. So if I'm advising her, I'm going to say, yeah, stick to this. This is what works. Like, ride this horse all the way, into the barn.
We've been talking, Greg. Remember we promoted your book the other day, How to Be Right. If you were Republicans right now, how would you be right on this issue? Because it's not going to go away. It will keep coming up.
Well, you're talking about abortion.
And
Abortion actually isn't the terrain. Social issues are quicksand for Republicans, and it's good to kind of step around it. However, you can go after them on their callousness about the Planned Parenthood videos. For example, they are conflating the horror with these videos with an attack on Planned Parenthood's abortion services. Like it's like we are trying to take abortion away because we are naturally we are repulsed and revulsed by these videos. Maybe to point out to Hillary that in those videos, some of those babies were actually girls. Technically, you witnessed the ultimate war on women by seeing those dead bodies. And if you went to China, all of those would be girls. So really,
that's where the
horror of pro-choice is that pro-choice is a war on women.
Could Republicans effectively make that argument, Kirsten?
Well, first of all, Republicans do want to take away abortion rights, right? So it's to sort of say...
I think that's a blanket statement. I think we've come to the conclusion that it's here to stay.
So you think that's the position of the presidential candidates?
Do you think that as any presidential candidate
they
that said that they would
overturn Roe v. Wade?
I don't think that's in any.
I don't think anybody has
You know what
said
it is?
Not in the top 10.
The
I can't. Maybe
They're not going to appoint
wanted
people
to-
that would overturn Roe v.
The
Wade. I mean, then this is a big shift in the Republican Party because that's
I don't think that they would.
But the
I mean-
correlation is to the Second Amendment. You know, you have a lot of liberals that are critical of the Second Amendment, but they all go, you're not going to take away people's guns. It's the same
Okay, well, this is
argument.
news to me. I mean, this is interesting if that's true, but I also think that Marco Rubio's position, I don't know how that's going to fly. I just don't know. I think most women are going to be sort of horrified by the idea that he does not, allow an exception for rape or incest. I just don't think I just don't know how he overcomes that.
Okay. Well, obviously, keep talking about it. I want to get to one more thing before we go. And Kimberly, can you talk about this? Hillary Clinton has said she's told a judge in a deposition or a sworn statement under penalty of perjury that she has turned over all of her work-related emails. What do you think of that? Do you think that that is true? And is it acceptable that her staff went through and decided what was work-related or not?
Well, I mean, she's obviously under the advice of counsel, felt confident to make that statement.
That's a good point.
Okay, so obviously he's gone through it and her staff has gone through it, and she feels pretty safe saying that. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, she's going out on a limb there. That better be accurate. But nevertheless, they've never shied away from, making loose statements that have little to do with the truth. So I wouldn't be surprised by anything here. But she's definitely looking at some serious legal problems, and I don't know. I'd be very worried if I was.
There's 3 federal investigations underway, Eric, right now of the Democratic candidate. But given the summer that we've had, you wouldn't even actually know it.
So if she's being honest and said that there was no classified information, then turn over the servers. Turn over everything. Let us decide, not just the ones that have been selectively edited, and we'll use those and redacted and whatnot. Because I have a hunch, in fact, they picked 10 out and found 4 of them had at least classified at this point.
And that was a
material.
sampling.
Right.
That's it.
And there's literally tens of thousands more, if not more. If you take all of the State Department emails, I think there's like billions of emails during her time. Let us have all of them. Let's figure out what was classified or not. I read something today, and I can't remember where I read it, so don't hang this on me, but Huma Abedin was using her personal email for some official business.
I don't doubt it.
She also was deleting her husband's pictures.
Oh, fair enough, but let's see those too, right?
She also had, I don't know, the gall to figure out a way to be a government employee and have a private consulting gig while at the same time of doing government business.
So inappropriate.
Isn't that? Why is that not getting more? Isn't that an outrage?
Yeah, I mean, it has gotten some coverage, and actually, the New York Times even did cover it. The New York Times covered the fact that I guess that she owes back pay for vacation time. That she basically has said she's never taken a vacation.
Which she denies.
She's never had a sick day. Right. Yeah, which is, I guess, possible. I mean, she works a lot. But yeah, I think the issue of you're being paid as a government employee to work full time. I mean, you've worked in the White House. You know, like
I wish I would have thought of that
job. So how could you be getting a full-time salary and then be doing another job? Like, when does that happen?
It's so improper.
I mean, unless she just never sleeps.
This is
I
the
guess.
problem.
I don't.
Could Hillary end
Don't
up
you
in the
think?
big house before the White House?
There are some signs saying that.
Or a big White House.
A big, yes.
They have good news for
I don't
us. They have jumpsuits.
Pantsuits.
Ay,
Okay, can I go?